Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and today I'm going to cut down this tree. I'm actually going to do a 4-part video series about this tree. First video is today. We're going to assess the lean on the tree and where the weight is, and we're going to cut it down. Second video will be how much firewood can I get out of this tree. So I'm going to give a lot of shots of the tree in just a minute. If you have a guess at whether we'll get a half a cord or a cord or 2 cords or how much wood we'll get out of this, then put your guess in the comments and we'll see how much we actually get when we shoot that video. The third video will be using my new landscape rake to clean up the debris from the fall and testing out that rake. And then the fourth video, we'll put the stump grinder on and we'll remove this stump down below ground level and cover it over it like this tree was never there. So put your guesses in the comment for how much wood we'll get out of that tree and stick around for the felling. Also, I've cut down a few trees over the years, but this is probably the biggest tree that I've ever cut down, and it's about the only time that I've decided I wanted to make it fall in a different direction than the lean. If it falls this way, you know, I'm wanting it to fall towards where the tractor is right now, and that's what I'm going to try to do. But if it falls the way it's leaning, the only thing behind it is this fence, which ends about 20-30 feet down, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to remove this stretch of fence anyway, so it's not nearly as bad as if there was a house sitting there. But I'm gonna try to fell it that way. So stick around and let's see what we can get done. So I watch a lot of tree felling videos, and my only complaint is sometimes watching the video you can't really tell where the lean is or how much lean it has. And I think that's just a fact of the way it works on camera. A lot of times when I'm showing these hillsides, you can't tell how steep it is. I mean, we're on a pretty steep slope right here. I'm gonna try in editing to do the best job I can to show if there's a slope or not, but I'm gonna first go all the way around it. This first shot will be pointing where I want it to fall more. Well, actually, so I want it to fall that way. So I'm gonna start up there and I'm gonna circle around the tree and just show it's not a heavy leaner or anything like that, but it does lean the way I don't want it to go. So hopefully there you can see parallel would be about here, straight up and down, and it's got lean that way towards the fence. It's got a little bit more branches on that side, and there's a couple of dead spots up towards the top. Now let's go down here by the fence and look at the side-to-side lean. Okay, so if you're straight right here we have a lean going that direction. So I would say the way it wants to fall would be to land on the fence right over here. Let's look at it. Let's take a look at it from this side. Some people might think that I'm overanalyzing this tree a little bit, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry and really take the risk seriously and check everything out as well as you can. All right, there you can see that's straight up and down. That's your back lean. Now from the uphill side, so that's straight up and down. That's your side lean from there. Now, if you can't see the lean here, I thought that this angle might help. You can see the fence on the left, and about the first 15 foot of the tree is pretty level, but at the top it leans pretty hard to the left. Like I said earlier, I'm not an expert at tree felling at all, so if you are and you see mistakes that I make, don't be afraid to tell me in the comments. I'm not going to take that as a negative thing. I'm trying to learn more than I'm trying to teach. So if you see something, tell me about it, because there's an even bigger one right over here that I'm going to do next, and I'm trying to learn as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear this little upshoots and brush from around the base of the tree, so I'm not going to trip over anything while I'm running the saw. Then the second thing I'm going to do is take some marking paint and mark everywhere I intend to cut, for two reasons. One, hopefully that makes the video more clear in terms of what I'm trying to do, and second, so that I don't get in the middle of the job and lose track of where I wanted to cut at. Alright, so I think I have my plan made. I'm going to go ahead and start painting the marks on the tree. So, the tree wants to fall this direction and that direction. I do want it to fall this way, but I don't want it to go that way because it'll hit the fence. I'm wanting it to fall that way. So, if I wanted to guarantee that, I could get up and put a chain up on this tree and then hook it to the base of that tree, or a cable, and that would be a guide for it. But I think it will fall that way anyway, and just by using the wedges properly and making the cuts right. But if I'm wrong and it lands on that fence, no big deal. I wanted to take it down anyway. So I'll go ahead and mark this off and we'll get started cutting. All right, so I want it to fall straight towards where I'm standing right now. I don't want to cut too low, so I'd rather be standing up when it goes. I feel like I might have got this cut a little too far that way. I'm not trying to fight it straight uphill. I just want to pull it that way. So I'm going to try to open this up. I didn't go very deep with my wedge. I'm going to try to open this up down this way a little bit. So from this camera angle, I want to leave more holding wood on the left side of the tree than the right side of the tree, which is what I just walked around to check. And I also realize I'm getting a little bit low on where I want to come in on my face cut on the left side. So I want to talk about the things I can see that I did wrong on this cut. But first, I want to give some more information and see if anyone can predict exactly how much wood I'm going to get out of this. Because I'm going to cut it up and I'm going to get measurements and tell you exactly how much I got and how long it took me, so I can see, you know, what I'm making per hour in cutting this wood. But it is 24 inches, maybe 25 in the other direction, and 56 foot tall to the tip of the highest branches. So if you got an idea how much wood I'll get out of this, put it in the comments. All right, so I guess I'd call that a success, although there were a couple things I struggled with, and a couple issues with my cut here that even as someone who's new to doing this, I can tell what I did wrong. And so most of it went the way I wanted. The tree landed where I wanted. On this side, my cut hit exactly where I wanted, which is an inch above my cutout. On this side, I got a few inches away and I could tell that my cut was going to come in just below my wedge. We're probably, I don't know, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch on this side below the wedge. The middle, I'm even with the wedge, and on this side, I'm an inch low. And I wasn't sure what to do when I'd cut this far, but I was angled too low. I wasn't sure how I could correct that, if I could do like a bore cut right where I needed it, or if I could back out and recut this to change the angle. So what I did was something I had already thought about, which is to cut all the way through the hinge on this side. What I wanted to get it down to was about a half an inch of holding wood here and maybe 1.5 inches of holding wood over here. So when it started to go, it would break this side first and hang on to this longer and pull it that way. And I mean, that's basically what happened. But problem is, my face cut was at a little bit of an angle, and then this cut came in straight in this direction, and that caused me to not hit my opening right. I guess another option that I didn't even consider, I could have, when I saw this cut was too low, I could have fixed it here by moving my cutout, but that doesn't seem like a good idea to me. So if you have any advice on what you would do if you're coming in on your back cut and you see that you're going to hit low on your hinge. I appreciate you taking time to watch this video. As the end screen comes up, I'm going to walk around this tree behind me that I'm going to cut next and show what that tree looks like and what the lean is like. And if you have any advice on that tree and what I should do there, put that in the comments. And anything that I could have done better on this cut, put that in the comments. So thanks for watching. In a minute, you'll see links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.